So, what if I told you that you could unlock the vast majority of everyday French right now by mastering just 4 verbs? I'm serious. Forget those endless vocab lists for a second. Today, we're going to focus on the powerful keys that really open the door to speaking actual French with confidence. Okay, let's get into it. And listen, that is no exaggeration. We're not talking about just any 4 verbs. These are the absolute bedrock of the language. When you focus your energy right here, you get this huge payoff. You're going to see them in pretty much every single sentence. You can think of them as your own personal conversational superpower. And here they are, the Fantastic Four of French. We've got être, which is to be, avoir, to have, aller, to go, and faire, which pulls double duty for to do and to make. Now, the catch? They're all irregular, which just means they kind of play by their own rules. But trust me, they are so important it's worth knowing them inside and out. We're going to tackle them in pairs, so let's start with the first 2. First up, let's look at the verbs that help you describe your world and everything that's in it. We're talking about your identity, your feelings, what you own. These are the verbs for being and having. All right, let's start with être, to be. Let's just walk through these together, shall we? For I, it's je suis. For the informal you, tu es. For he or she, we've got il est or elle est. When we talk about we, that's nous sommes. For the formal or plural you, it's vous êtes. And finally, for they, it's ils sont or elles sont. Each one has its own vibe, its own sound. So really listen to the pronunciation. That's key. So when do you actually use this thing? Well, think of être as the verb you use to define who you are. It's for your identity, like saying, I am a student. It's for your job, your nationality, and even how you're feeling, like je suis fatigué, I am tired. It's all about who you are and what you're like. Okay, moving on to the second verb in this pair, avoir, which means to have. Right off the bat, you'll see something for I. The je becomes j'ai apostrophe because A starts with a vowel. So we say j'ai. Got it? From there, it's tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, and ils ont. Simply put, this verb is all about possession, what you've got. Now here's where it gets really interesting because there's a classic trap for us English speakers. Check this out. In English, we say I am hungry or I am 20 years old, right? But in French, you use avoir. You literally say, I have hunger, j'ai faim, or I have 20 years, j'ai 20 ans. This is a huge aha moment for so many learners. If you can nail this one difference, you are going to sound so much more natural instantly. All right, so we've covered being and having. Let's shift gears to our next pair, the action verbs. These are the ones that actually get you moving and doing things. They're what put your world in motion. And here it is, aller, to go. This one is super irregular. You can just see it, but you will hear it all the time. So we have je vais, tu vas, il va, nous allons, vous allez, and ils vont. As you can see, it's the verb of movement, of destination. And of course, it's famous for being in the greeting comment allez-vous, or the super common ça va? So useful. Okay, and this leads us to one of my favorite French grammar hacks. Seriously, this is your secret weapon for talking about the future right now without learning a whole new complex tense. It's a simple 2-step recipe. You take the form of aller we just learned, and then you just tack on any other verb in its original, infinitive form. So je vais plus parler becomes je vais parler. I am going to speak. It is literally that easy. Okay, time for our final power verb, faire. And this one is so cool because it means both to do and to make. Let's run through it. Je fais, tu fais, il fait, nous faisons, vous faites, and ils font. Get ready because this is like the Swiss Army knife of verbs. You use it for all kinds of activities. Just look at how much this one verb can do. You use it for sports and hobbies, like je fais du sport. You use it for activities and chores, like je fais mes devoirs. I'm doing my homework. And here's a weird one. You even use it for the weather. Il fait beau literally means it makes beautiful, but we just say the weather is nice. It's an absolute workhorse of the French language. Okay, so you've seen all 4 verbs. You've got the tools. Now it's time to actually use them. Let's do a quick little practice round and put this new foundation to the test. You ready? First one, how would you say I am a teacher? Okay, think back. Which verb was for professions and identity? That's it. Je suis professeur. You're using être to describe who you are. Nicely done. All right, next up. How about this one? I have a cat. Which verb was all about possession, about what you have?
You got it. J'ai un chat. Using avoir to talk about what belongs to you. Perfect.
And for the last one in our quiz, how do you say, I'm going to Paris? Which one was our verb of movement?
Je vais à Paris.
Exactly. That's aller showing us where you're headed. Fantastic work. So let's just lock this in. This is your new conversational toolkit. To describe yourself, you're going to use être. To say what you have, you've got avoir. To talk about where you're going, it's all about aller. And for pretty much any activity you can think of, you'll be reaching for faire. These 4 verbs, they are the absolute pillars of French conversation. And there you have it. You just walked through the 4 most essential verbs in the entire French language. You now have the foundation to build thousands of sentences to describe your world, your actions, and everything you're planning to do. So, the only real question left is, what are you going to say first?